It is the Riot Podcast. Happy Friday, March 4th to you. It's finally the weekend for us. This is it. This is the last thing we have to do.
All right, and Hudson's standing for it. You're
so I can go to the door quicker and leave.
It feels like you're restless today.
I am. I don't know. I've been too long and stuck in this room. Need to be free.
Isaiah, are you ready to run out?
Oh, I'm ready to get out of here.
Do you still have a headache?
I'm feeling better as of now. I don't know what. There was like a little point there. I was like, maybe I was just hungry. Hadn't have enough like water yet. I don't know.
Or caffeine?
But I do have, maybe the coffee. Maybe that gives people headaches, right? If you drink too much coffee. I think a larger glass than usual this morning. Like I usually have a half cup.
Yeah.
This morning I had a full cup.
You did a full cup?
Did a full cup. For no reason, really, just because.
Well, the reason is it's Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're still flushed, like in your face.
Yeah, I know. I kind of woke up that way this morning. I don't really know what's wrong with me.
This is just the new Isaiah.
Yeah, it's just the new me.
His eye hurts. He's flushed. He's
I'm doing okay.
Got a headache.
Get
it's fine.
Get
used to it.
I am wondering, too. Hudson, when you came in this morning, were you, like, extra tired?
No, actually, no, I wasn't.
You were pretty good?
Yeah.
Because, like, you missed our, like, morning wave, so I didn't know for sure if Hudson was in a bad mood this morning.
You know what? I remember this happening, and I waved to you. I don't know if you saw when I walked out to get my coffee.
I missed the secondary wave.
You missed the wave.
He waved. You just didn't see it out of your eye.
Yeah, I missed the secondary wave.
I heard the door, and usually when I hear the door, I turn around.
And we do our little wave.
I heard the door, and I looked. And you weren't still there. So what am I just going to keep sitting here waiting for you to walk through?
You're supposed to be ready. Like, you're supposed to just sit there and
I had work to do. I had work to do.
Usually you do like the little...
So I watched for a second, and you didn't come through fast enough. Why did you not come through the door?
I think I had my hands full this morning.
Every time you two talk, I feel like it escalates and it escalates and it escalates, which reminds me, in this podcast, if you put in the part about the NFL, like people involved in the NFL, the most hated ones based on tweets and hate words, you guys start to get really agitated at each other.
And almost like a passive-aggressive
way. It was. It's because like two of our favorite players
are on the list.
On the list. So obviously then we got a little bit heated.
Well, I just don't want any more escalation.
Well, we can't promise that, Nikki. I mean, the show's over now. You got to hope in the podcast intro. If we start escalating in this, we just got to avoid the whole most hated NFL players thing.
Okay.
But that is in there. Here we go.
It's all in good fun. I'm not truly upset. Sometimes I get truly upset, but it wasn't this.
Okay, so even there's a comment after everything. There's always a comment to escalate. Like, so is that a comment implying that other times Isaiah said things?
Well, don't put me down. It could be you too, Nikki. You could easily have made him super upset.
Very rarely, I think.
There's been times where Hudson's came to the kitchen afterwards and
crying.
He's been like, Nikki this morning.
Dude, no
too
way.
Much.
No way.
Too much.
I didn't say it on air, but like it is Employee Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
So we were talking about during the show, like, does your employer make you feel well enough as an employee? And I didn't want to put like, my boss has made me cry so many times. Like, I can't tell you how many times. So hopefully I haven't made anybody else cry.
Have you ever cried at work, Isaiah?
No, I haven't cried at work.
Are you a crier?
I'm not a crier, but I will tell you, the only morning, and I wasn't going to cry this morning, but the morning that I crashed my car in the parking lot, I didn't almost cry, but I was just in such a fury.
Yeah.
That was the only time I've really shown any emotion.
You have not lived until you've gone to the bathroom to turn the water on to cry. So that no one will hear you.
If I cry at RadioU, I'm quitting that day. Like, if that makes me cry at work.
That's kind of how I feel too.
Unless it's something outside of work that's making me cry. If something makes me cry at work here, then I just need to quit. There's something's wrong.
Then maybe you should thank me because I'm taking the heat from our boss before it gets to you. I'm the buffer in between. So that's why if I'm in the door and the door's shut and the water's running, I'm not washing my hands. I'm crying.
The water's been going for 7 minutes. Yeah. Like you're not doing her ABCs twice, washing your hands.
I think she's upset.
Yeah, I'm taking that a little hard, I guess.
Like we mentioned, for Employee Appreciation Day, we do appreciate you guys. So if no one else says it, you are much appreciated at your work and in your life.
And you work for us now.
Gosh, that's the wrong way to say that.
Yeah. We also talked a little bit about some dating advice. We talked about how if you have poor grammar, that's one of the many reasons that you aren't having much success on the dating apps.
That's why.
Yeah, that's why. That's the main reason.
A possible explanation. It might not be the explanation or the only explanation, but it's an option. It's one of the many things you probably need to address in your life.
Or you're unattractive. There's only so many. I don't know which one it is. I mean, we don't know. It could be so many of them. I feel like your pictures are a good one.
You're sending bad messages. You don't know how to talk to women or men. There's a lot of things it could be. But the grammar's an easy one to take care of.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, too, if the grammar's what's tripping you up, it's pretty easy to isolate because if you got the match, that meant that your pictures and everything are good. It's just when you send the message, you're coming across in a bad way.
They don't want to hear what you have to say, even if you're saying it wrong.
They can't understand it because the grammar's wrong.
Because they can't understand what you're typing in.
Well, enjoy the podcast today. We hope everybody has a really great weekend as well. You can always say hey at RadioU Riot on Facebook and our YouTube channel. We did check in with Glasslands with Josh.
Yeah,
so that's in this podcast too. So watch the interview and feel free to say hey, riot at radiou.com if you ever want to email.
And we'll catch you next time.
With all your grammar mistakes.
See you guys.
The Riot promise is that they'll always have an opinion on everything they talk about. But that doesn't mean any of their opinions will make sense. This is The Riot on Radio U.
One of the popular things to do this weekend, I'm sure, is going to be to head out and see The Batman in theaters.
You're right. I forgot.
Did you really?
I did.
No, you did. You haven't seen all the promotion?
I don't think I'm on the Batman's main
Reddit
push for the promotional thing, but because I know for here, you can start seeing it Wednesday night and then Thursday. So I feel like it's kind of already been out, but this is its first main weekend.
Yeah, this is when everybody is going to go out and see, and it'll be interesting to compare, especially against like Spider-Man, how the Batman does. But of course, they're trying to do other things to get you excited, get you out to the theaters, and just keep it in mind that it's this weekend and that Batman is going on. So AMC, as we remember, they are charging extra if you want to go see the Batman this weekend. They're also allowing you, ignore that part, because they're allowing you to get a collectible Batman popcorn vessel, they call it.
It's a Batman head, and then you open up the top of the head, and that's where the popcorn goes.
Yeah.
Do you know where this is coming from?
What do you mean?
Okay, in other countries, popcorn vessels are kind of like popular when you go to the movie theater. But if you look recently, Disney does these popcorn vessels that have like straps that you wear like a bag, kind of like a purse.
I thought you meant like a horse.
Oh, no,
so you could just eat out of the feed bag.
Nope. You just wear it and they collect them. And people wait like 5-6 hours in line for these things.
Yeah.
They're worth a lot of money. And I think that's where AMC is coming from.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, let's do a popcorn vessel.
Yeah, maybe. I guess if that's the new collectible thing.
You can't wear this one. Like it's not a bag. It doesn't have a strap to it. So I don't know what you do with it after. You'll just have to set it out.
You display it on the mantle.
That's
or
something.
in your collector's case. It's going to cost you $26.99 plus tax.
I thought it'd be free. God.
It says what, free with your popcorn order?
No,
well, your
free.
Popcorn order is going to cost you $26.99 too.
Oh
so.
yeah, does it at least come with free popcorn?
See, that's
in
what
it?
that's what I don't know.
Yeah,
because I honestly. I don't want this. It looks super cheap to me. But and I don't collect popcorn vessels. I have nowhere to display them, nor would I want to. But if I did, I wouldn't want it to have the popcorn in it because it would make it so greasy.
Sure.
And who wants to clean that?
Yeah, you're not actually wanting to use it.
If you're thinking about reselling it, then you want it untouched by any popcorn or human hands, I guess.
Well, then that's a no for you.
Yeah.
I just felt like, AMC is charging more if you see the Batman in their theaters because it's like a premium movie at this point.
Right.
So I thought like, to thank you for paying more and to offset some of that cost, they were offering the Batman popcorn vessel, but they're not.
Yeah, and too, if this is anything that's worth anything, that it's going to sell out before you even get a chance. Like if you're hearing us talking about it now, and this is the first you're hearing of it, that probably means you won't be able to get one.
Probably not.
Because it'll sell out. So
I'm looking at the Disney Figment popcorn holders. They're going for like $200-$300 on eBay.
Wow.
And they're used.
So you're saying that we should go get this.
Well,
that it's worth the $26.99 investment because we'll be able to resell it, possibly.
I'm not sure. Disney Collectibles over there. That's its own thing.
Yeah.
It brings a lot more money. I have not seen Batman popcorn vessels before. I don't know if it'll bring in the same.
Yeah, maybe not. But I don't know. if you want to take that, make that investment, take that chance, again, it may very well be too late. They supposedly started selling them yesterday.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
How does wings sound right now? You want some wings?
Anytime.
Yeah?
I'm good anytime you say wings.
What's your wing sauce that you want?
Lately I've been getting that garlic parmesan we had.
That is good.
Was it garlic parmesan the other day?
Yeah, can you want to admit where that was from?
Guys,
that was actually really good.
All right, brace yourselves, okay? Just hang on because some will be disappointed. We had a staff luncheon and we ordered in these Pizza Hut boxes.
Yeah.
And I tell you, before you go throwing pizzas, because you're like, oh, that's terrible. We get the little boneless chicken wings with it. And they're pretty good.
Yeah, no, all salute to Pizza Hut because they did a great
better than we
job.
thought.
They did a great job, and we've had a couple good experiences with the Pizza Hut boxes. So I will say, garlic parm is a great wing sauce. Hit or miss, though. Two places, like you go to Buffalo Wild Wings and Pizza Hut, they do it way different, even though it's the same sauce.
Sure.
And some places not as good.
If not, I like to take Frank's, the hot sauce, and butter, and you just make your own sauce.
That's a good one.
Super
That's a good
easy.
one. I do that with Old Bay, too. Okay, all this wing talk. We haven't brought up one of the best wing places, which is Wingstop. Wingstop is great. And they are now planning on selling chicken, not just to you and I in the real world, but also virtual chicken.
In the metaverse?
In the metaverse.
Are we so out of chicken that we
can only sell the idea of chicken?
Is this where it's going to?
A picture, a virtual recreation of chicken.
We get over $5 gas and virtual chicken now.
That's what we get, and you're going to be happy with it.
You're going to be happy.
They are not the first fast food company either to get into the metaverse food and drink game. They filed this is still, kind of early on in the process because they've just filed trademarks and stuff so that they can do it. But McDonald's and Panera Bread have both also filed trademarks to get in to the metaverse. And here's what I don't understand, and I don't know. You're not in the metaverse, are you, Nikki?
No.
So you may not be the person to explain this to me either. The idea of the metaverse is like you can go in and you can have another life, right? Like you can be a different person or the same person, but just a person that, just live life a little differently in there if you want to. And so you can wear different clothes. You can look different if you want to. You can do all this stuff differently, right? But it all still costs money. It's basically like the real world. All that said, right? It all makes sense. I guess I understand that. But if you're in a virtual life, why would you use your finite amount of virtual money to spend it on chicken when you don't actually need to eat?
Well,
it's a virtual person. They can continue on living.
Back when McDonald's announced it, I also thought it was the trademark stuff for like if you were playing a game or in a virtual world. So if you had your, gear on and stuff.
Yeah.
That you could walk into a McDonald's virtually and order your stuff, and then it would come in the real world.
So really?
I think it is a balance of like it's both, but I think they're selling their chicken wings in the metaverse so that you don't have to leave your area, and then it gets delivered to you though, so you can enjoy it in your real life.
Wow. You did explain it to me.
I think
that makes
it.
more sense.
Doesn't it?
Because otherwise, virtually eating chicken makes zero sense.
I know.
You do not need to sustain. That would be horrible if they programmed that into the metaverse, wouldn't it? Where you still have to eat, and then it's like, oh, I'm still spending all my money. I thought I was going to be having like a really much cooler house, and much cooler clothes and a much cooler car. And instead, I'm still spending all my money to just eat chicken. And
the trademark stuff would cover downloadable virtual goods, so NFTs, virtual food and drink too. So it just covers their trademark. It does include that. It does. It just covers the trademark for an alternate verse.
And do you ever
Don't think too much about it. That's why you're having a hard time with it.
Yeah, I am. I'm thinking too much, and that's why I'm not going to be in the metaverse.
They don't want you thinking.
Even the videos of people playing the stuff and where you see them in the real world with their headsets, that should be enough for everybody to just be like, you know what? We don't need to do this.
Well,
but it's not.
At least there'll still be wings, I guess.
As long as they're real wings.
I know. As long as they're real ones, we're okay.
I'm on board.
We would say rate and review the podcast. But let's be honest, that would probably hurt more than hell. The Worst of the Riot podcast.
Whenever I see a soup story, I'm like, that's Hudson.
That's Hudson.
That's just Hudson.
Hudson used to be the hot dog guy. Hot dogs every day. Never failed. And then, I don't know if you got aware of that or like for health reasons.
Yeah.
You decided not to and you moved into soup.
Well, hot dogs are much more filled with calories and fat.
Yeah.
And I can get soup that is not filled with either of those things.
But you can find a lot of soups that are filled with hot dogs.
Yeah, oddly enough.
Or a sausage
hot
type.
dog soup.
Yeah.
I'll just chop up some franks, put them in a chicken
Put 'em
broth.
in there, yeah.
Maybe throw some bun pieces in.
I just don't know if you move into soup was as healthy as, depending on the type of soup.
Yeah, well, I have lost some weight, so.
If you're only eating hot dogs,
is that the absence
I guess
of
if you
hot
moved
dogs?
anything, you may lose weight.
But the soup has done me well, which makes, and I feel good about it.
Okay.
I still feel good. I've got some soup. It's not hot yet, but it's waiting for me today.
That's the after show snack?
Yes, it is.
Do you want me to do the story?
Yeah, I do kind of.
I was wondering what you wanted from me.
I mean, you found it.
Soup doesn't count as a meal. That's
You
what the
don't think
story
so?
is. No, it doesn't count as a meal. And nobody thinks so either. 50% of Americans here in the study find that soup is not a meal.
So that's half of people.
Yeah, it's 50% of
So
people.
don't say nobody.
Well, nobody thinks it's actually a meal.
The other 50% of people don't count.
Well, they count, but at the same time, do they really count if their opinion is wrong?
Don't make half of the people mad.
See, well, what's the census of the room? Let's see. We have 3 people in here. What do we think?
What's the context?
Does soup
count as a meal?
Would you have soup for dinner and that's your whole meal?
I can't give that a yes or no answer. It depends. It depends. If it's here at work, lunch is a meal. I feel that lunch is usually lighter than dinner. I feel that I can eat soup for a meal for lunch. Would I want to do it for dinner? Probably not. And also it depends on how much soup you have.
Yeah, the hardiness of the soup.
Yeah, but it
just
depends on
is
what
gonna
soup.
vary.
And if you're going to a restaurant, the old classic Seinfeld episode, if somebody says, I'll buy you a meal, soup does not count as a meal. That doesn't mean you can order it and they pay for it. And if they pay for it, it's your meal.
Yeah.
In the Seinfeld context. But it's not a full meal. No, not at a restaurant.
But when I have soup for like dinner, I add so many crackers or I eat so much bread with it that it goes way beyond a meal. So
It's a meal and a half.
It's a
Right.
meal and a half. So I feel like you could doctor it up to feel like it. But if they're just counting soup and soup only,
Right.
a lot of times, no, it's not going to be
If
enough.
you just have a bowl or a cup of chicken noodle,
that's not
that's not
enough.
really a meal.
No.
But when does it? The tough line is, when does it go from not being a meal to being a meal? How much crackers do you need to put in before it becomes a meal?
Or I like a grilled cheese, a little side of grilled
Ooh.
cheese.
Yeah.
There it is.
Now we're
See,
talking.
when I eat grilled cheese, then I consider the soup the side.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's when I don't put anything in the soup, and I just, after I dip the grilled cheese in it, I just drink it. So it's really just a drink or a condiment.
That's true. So do you not like any soup, Isaiah?
No, I like soup. Whenever I've been sick, which for whatever reason has been a lot recently, I've been doing a lot of chicken noodle. But now that I think about it, I've been using chicken noodle soup as like a meal.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, I wouldn't consider it a meal, but it just makes me feel better. And so I've been eating that a lot. But that's pretty much the only soup that I've
Actually,
ever done.
That's a good way to put it. In theory, it doesn't count as a meal, but in practice, it is.
It
kind
is
of
sometimes a meal.
isn't it?
But if you're sick, I feel like your appetite's less. So
Oh, yeah.
if you're eating soup a lot and you're sick a lot, then you might actually, it could be the 50%. You might
Yeah.
think a soup is an entire meal, but your appetite's down.
Why would you? And why is it something that you would eat when you're sick?
Sure.
Because it's lighter. It's less. So
With
I
your
don't know.
7-Up.
Right.
Yes.
Does that mean the
All
7-Up
your
doesn't
vitamin
count as a
C.
real drink?
I don't think it does. That's a good question. Maybe not.
Yeah. So I don't know if we've solved anything. I think we've just really muddied the waters when it comes to soup.
We
We've
muddied the soup, yeah.
If you want it to be a meal, it is sometimes. Other times, you probably don't think it is. That's what we came to.
And it depends on what soup you like.
You know what? I just have a problem with the survey. You can't ask this as a yes or no question.
Sure.
Because there's too much nuance.
Why pay for so many streaming services that you don't really care about when you can not really care about the Riot for free? Radio U.
So if you guys had to guess, unless maybe you've looked ahead, who would you think is the most hated person in the NFL?
Oh, like player-wise?
Yeah. Well, anybody. It could be coach
or something?
Could be somebody who's just, somehow associated but not actually in the league.
Sure. Well, I don't know players as well as you guys do, but I feel like, is it the Mahomes guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty hated.
I don't think I've ever seen a positive thing about him.
You're right.
As just someone who casually looks in on football, less than you guys.
Yeah.
So whoever that guy is, I think he would.
You know what?
I would assume he'd be it.
If this was done that way, you might be right about that. Isaiah, do you have a guess or have you looked ahead?
Oh, I looked ahead.
You looked ahead.
And it makes me so happy to see who's just sitting at the top there. Well deserved. I mean, among the likes of names like Deshaun Watson, Antonio Brown, Robert Kraft, you find Aaron Rodgers just sitting there atop the list of just a wild group of people.
Your favorite.
Yeah.
He's the most hated.
See, that kind of reflects on you a little bit as I see
what
you.
I'm thinking if we did it Nikki's way, where it was like the people that like you cancel out the people that don't like you.
Sure.
And then it was like the difference. Then Jackson Mahomes might be at the top. He was actually number 6 on this list.
I bet you if Aaron Rodgers didn't have the COVID thing, he wouldn't be the top one.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I agree.
So this study, here's how this was done. This was looks like the Fort Worth Star Telegram teamed up with Bet Online, and they basically analyzed a bunch of tweets. They combed through a bunch of tweets to see which, they looked for different keywords and stuff, added them all up to see who had the most negative tweets about them in the month of December. So this is only for the month of December. I don't remember when Aaron Rodgers had his COVID deal, but maybe it was.
They still bring it up on Twitter.
Yeah, it's still a big deal.
It still
It's still
is.
maybe fresher in everyone's mind, and that's why he's at the top of the list. But he's at the top of the list, and sadly, for me anyways, not especially close. But you know what? You know what that is? That's just the haters. That's the cancel culture that he talks about.
He knows.
They're hating him out there, that's for sure. So he now when he brings that up, at least he's accurate. But is it his own making? It may be.
Well, so Twitter doesn't like him. They're based on negative tweets. Aaron Rodgers, then Antonio Brown, Bill Belichick, Odell Beckham, Deshaun Watson, Jackson Mahomes, and more.
Did you contribute to this list?
Me, any negative
tweets? Put
tweets?
any negative tweets out?
No,
about...
I would never. I'm not a negative tweeter.
Do you retweet?
I don't put anything out there that's super negative. Except there's the only negative things I'll put is when people hate on obviously my guy Baker Mayfield. So if you're hating on Baker, then obviously you're in the wrong.
So if there was a
He's
list
1,
of
2,
positive
3,
tweets,
6, 7, 8, 9. He's 9.
Yeah, I saw Baker kind of slipped into that list as
Yeah.
well. But those are just the haters. You can't blame them for putting them on there. But I mean, if you look though,
go ahead.
I was gonna say just the mere gap between Aaron Rodgers and everyone else is more. The gap between Aaron Rodgers and Antonio Brown is more votes more tweets than anybody else has.
Yeah, that is
more than double. It's incredible.
Basically almost triple anybody else on the list. You know what I think? Aaron Rodgers, he's very high profile. He's had a lot of success in the league. So I feel like that, maybe players like Baker Mayfield, people aren't aware enough of them because they don't win enough to be, considered high on the list.
Are you hurting back? What are you doing?
Yeah, a little bit.
Listen, guys,
It's not Aaron's fault. All right, he had some questionable decisions. He made it. I mean, look at the people he's above. It's incredible. Antonio Brown, how? Deshaun Watson, incredible. I mean, how are you higher than some of these people? I don't know. By that
You're
much,
making it sound like you hate those people more. Also,
I think those people deserve more. Antonio Brown and Deshaun Watson, Jackson Mahomes deserve more hate than Aaron Rodgers, but somehow he's sitting at the top. I don't know how. It's incredible.
He's saying they deserve more.
They deserve more.
In other words, Aaron Rodgers being unfairly maligned and demonized.
Hey, we're not tweeting our hates here. What are we doing? You're not adding to the negative.
No, I'm trying to be positive. I think
you're hurt, and Isaiah, I think you're feeling hurt too.
I'm not.
You know what?
I'm not denying anything about Aaron Rodgers.
This is The Riot. RadioU.
So the Batman is out this weekend.
Has anybody seen it yet?
Yeah, I guess you could have gotten out the last couple days, and if you were lucky, you could have gotten in for one of those first showings. So let us know if you liked it. 8772-RADIO-U.
Or tell us Monday.
Yeah, definitely. I'm imagining we're going to get a lot of feedback definitely on Monday. So one of the stories that I'm seeing about it, Paul Dano.
Yeah.
He plays the Riddler in the movie. And there are basically reports that he got really into character, really did a lot of research, just really took it very seriously. In fact, the director of the movie, Matt Reeves, recently told The Hollywood Reporter that for one scene, they did over 200 takes.
I hope that's not like 200 takes where everybody's involved, like take one.
Yeah, that's what
take two, or like he's practicing 200 takes.
See, that's that. There's a lot left up to interpretation, or maybe he's exaggerating. But he says there's one scene that involved the Riddler, that involved Paul Dano talking to Batman over a cell phone video.
Yeah.
And so for that scene, I guess that's a spoiler alert, by the way.
I think it's okay.
Scene,
oh no, we told you.
They did it. They did it, according to Matt Reeves, 200 times, and many of those were Paul Dano, like he wanted to do them.
Sure.
And that's where I start to question. You're Matt Reeves. You're the director, right? I mean, one or two times, if you do the take and the director's like, all right, I think that's good. And then the actor's like, well, I think I can do a little better. Fine. But how many times? 200 times you're going to keep saying, yeah, Paul, do it a little better. Do it a little different. Keep on trying.
I guess it is a tiny bit different. So it's not just like the one take 200 times. Mm-hmm. He was changing stuff about the take. Mm-hmm. So like he said it was different iterations of it. So like I'm sitting here, standing this way, that way.
Yeah.
So it's not just redoing one line 200 times.
Right.
But it's just a different take on the shot with it to see what would be the best. But dude, I don't want to sit there while this guy's doing 200 takes.
Yeah, I hope it was not many other people involved in that. So, there has to be some, though, and the lighting and the this and the that, all the different technical things that go into filming that. It feels like that would definitely involve a lot of people just sitting around, because the lighting is the same and everything. Maybe at some point they're just like, you can go take a break until Paul is finished with his millions of takes here.
Maybe though, since we don't do movies, maybe having so many takes is not anything too uncommon. And to us, I think
200 is pretty uncommon.
It sounds extravagant, but it's hard when people go in, especially when they're so into their character.
Yeah.
I don't think we would handle it well.
No, I don't think so. Well, oftentimes what you hear from movies, it's certain directors, and the directors will want millions of takes, and to the point where all the actors start to get frustrated, and it's you have to be a really good director to actually have that kind of leeway with actor, where people aren't just going to get upset with you when you're asking for takes after takes after takes.
So is usually, Paul Dano?
But yeah, this is not, so that's weird. It's the flip side. It's the actor that's wanting all these takes, and I guess Paul Dano is he just takes it much more seriously than everybody else. They also said later on, they said that he, as part of his costume, had his head wrapped in saran wrap.
Really?
Yeah.
For the costume or like under the costume?
I don't know. I don't know if you can see it or if that's just to keep his hair in, out of vision or, like whatever it was. But they said because he had his head wrapped in saran wrap, the heat couldn't escape. So he was like getting all overheated under the mask and stuff.
Dude, I'd be
like turning yourself into a baked potato in there.
Since he was playing the Riddler, I would have been like, riddle me this. Let's stop filming you right now.
Right. We're going to need to take a break. So
but I'm curious, I don't know if I'll have a chance to watch the Batman this weekend, but we'll see what it does.
If you're looking for hot takes on the day's most important news stories, you're in the wrong place. You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
It is The Riot on RadioU, and today is a big day because we get to catch up with Josh from Glasslands.
Yay.
Josh, good morning.
How are you?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
I'm good.
Doing great. How are you guys?
Very good. Josh is from an undisclosed breakfast location outside. So if you want to say hey to him, join us at RadioU Riot on Facebook or RadioU Riot on YouTube so you can see where he's at. Well, it's good to catch up with you. So things are going good?
Yeah, things are great. Yeah, we haven't talked in a long time. Miss you guys.
We miss you too.
It's been a while.
Things are great. We're on the road right now. Got an off day, so just enjoying it, the weather.
So you guys are on the road, and I saw on your Twitter going back a few days, have you actually taken up rock climbing? Is that for real?
Yeah. I've been climbing since probably like July. I started. Really, really enjoy it because I hate lifting. So this was like a kind of fun way to do it, and it's really technical, and I really enjoy it. So I'm like obsessed.
Are you able to do that out on the road then, or like,
are you going to like
you finding all the new places?
Are you going to rock climbing like gyms,
Sadly,
or do you
no.
rock climb outside?
Yeah. I've never climbed outside. Eventually I want to, but I've only been going to gyms. But yeah, it's really hard on the road because I also work a full-time job and do the band. So
wow.
I don't really have time. But hopefully one day I'll be able to climb on the road. So
Well, anytime you come to the RadioU studios next, we have a really cool indoor rock climbing place.
Do we?
You're.
Nice.
You should teach us.
Yeah, we got to go do a class together. So
let's set something up.
that would be fun. This is Josh from Glasslands. Today on RadioU, you get to hear the new song "Bury My Flame," and on RadioU TV, you get the brand new music video for it as well. So check that out at RadioU TV. I meant to ask you, Josh, at the beginning of the "Bury My Flame" music video, is that Jesse who seats you at the table? Is that Jesse Cale?
You guys know Jesse?
Yeah, we do. I've known him forever, so I was so glad to see him.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He was the art director, and then he filled in any shots where we wanted to have him. So
Oh, that was sweet. I got excited. I haven't seen him in a while, so I was like, hey, that's Jesse. So, well, yes, again, the music video is today.
The music video's out now. The new song is "Bury My Flame," and then the new album.
Is that a plane?
Oh my gosh!
I think
cars, planes.
Josh is literally outside. He's outside at a breakfast place. So, well, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, Brent, look who's here.
Oh, hey,
Good morning.
Brandon, how are you? He can't hear,
Good
but
morning.
good morning,
morning.
Brandon. I'm sorry, your question, Hudson, got interrupted by a plane.
Yeah, that's right. I was just going to ask, what do we need to know about the new album? It's coming out on April 8th. It's called The Deep, but what can we find out except for that?
What do we need to know?
I can give you a little teasing information, but it comes out April 8th, called The Deep. It's a little conceptual, not like a full traditional concept album, but a lot of the songs relate to each other and refer to a character that is prominent throughout the record. So I'm really excited for people to hear it front to back.
In order. They have to go in order?
That's right.
Front
You
to
don't
back.
have to go in order. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, bands and artists spend a lot of time, figuring out the sequence that they want for the record to be. So I would say listen to it in order, but it's not like reliant on the story or anything to listen to it in any particular order.
I'm always curious about when it comes to concept albums. Do you ever have a song that it's part of the story, so you can't cut up? You're like, this one's not quite as good, but it tells the story, so I have to leave it in.
Well, that's the problem with normal concept albums, is you do run to that issue. But this was more like all the songs are independent of each other.
And they're all good, right?
Have common themes, and referencing a character in a lot of them and stuff like that. So,
Well, I think it's good because
normally, that would be the case.
we can live in a, at least for radio, in a single world where we just listen to one song from a band, and maybe it's a while you don't hear, more songs. But it's nice when it's a concept album to really dive deep and get to hear more from an artist and maybe the song you get to hear on the radio at the moment. So we love when bands put in the effort to do the whole album that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy that process. So
Cool. Well, Josh, thank you so much for having breakfast with us and being
absolutely.
outside.
Oh, I got my blueberry muffin right here.
You're all ready to
Nice.
go. Very nice. So you guys can say hi to Josh. Head over to RadioU Riot on Facebook and our YouTube channel there. A new song will play right now, Bury My Flame. Music videos on RadioU TV starting today. And we're all going to be scheduled to go rock climbing soon.
Yes,
okay? Is that
that's right.
everything?
Let's do it. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Josh,
right.
thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's great seeing you guys.
Thanks, Glasslands. This is the new one, "Bury My Flame." It is The Riot.
We've done you a favor by selecting the best of the worst and compiling it all in one place. Riot Podcast Radio U.
What are the odds of this? Just yesterday, we were talking about things that we learned later in life that you would have expected us to have figured out years ago. It's something you learn when you're still in school and stuff like that. My example was I still don't know how to type, and so different things about typing that I either still don't know or
You're
are
working on
still
currently.
learning as an adult.
Yeah.
For Isaiah, you said you have a problem with what, grammar?
Yeah, I said I just recently started using the correct yours. Obviously, that's a typical mess up is your and you are, your. But I learned that like in the past year or so. So it's not so much an issue anymore as I now understand the concept of an apostrophe. Yes.
So is the reason that you learned how to finally get your grammar correct is so that you would be more appealing in online dating?
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying nowadays?
It sure is.
I think that for online dating, there's a study or a article about every single thing in our lives about what you need to do better.
About whether it's optimal for finding a match or not.
Because they just go back to, well, that's why it's not working out for you.
Yeah, it's just a lot of excuses. If you aren't getting matches, it's not because like of how I look or how I'm acting. It's just because like my grammar's a little off.
Right. So, well, now that you've addressed that, you can address all the other issues that you have.
Yeah, exactly.
that are scaring people away. But this is a survey from the company, the dating app Zoosk. They surveyed 9,000 people. 72% said that spelling errors and spelling errors are a turnoff, and 48% said poor grammar is a deal breaker.
So, like when you're texting with them?
Yeah, or messaging, I guess, when you're sending that first message. They say that it makes you seem either lazy or busy or don't care or maybe you're straight up dumb, you know?
So you never want to come across as unintelligent. I also feel like if in the very first message you send, you have like a spelling error, like usually if you're sending a message, like you're trying to figure out like what the right thing to say is.
Sure.
So if you just mess up like any words in it, they're like, is he even trying? Like you would think you would put a little more effort into this.
If you can't even get the grammar right in the first message, what else are you going to mess up in the relationship?
Especially since a lot of times your first message is a copy and paste to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Messaging that I feel like if you don't catch the grammar and the spelling mistakes in your first one, you've messaged that to all the people you're trying to meet.
I think you just pointed out something interesting, though, Nikki. What if you put in a spelling mistake or a grammar mistake to make it look like it's not a copy and paste? Like you're really just tailoring it to this person.
Yeah.
Makes it seem personal, but also it makes you feel like a real person and not some robot that knows all the grammar and spelling.
Sure. And I don't know how it is, with you guys, with women, if they message you. But sometimes when
they
guys...
don't.
But sometimes as a lady, the way a guy can message, a lady is so bad anyway.
Oh, yeah.
That grammar and spelling is not the main problem.
It's the least of your worries, right?
Yes, it's the other things they're saying. Yeah. So
let's see. They also found that 93% said that adding a period to the end of a sentence makes them think better of you, which is surprising to me.
Really?
Because I think sometimes that makes it seem too serious.
I think so
Don't you
too.
think?
I never use them. I never use periods in any sentences ever. And sometimes I will in an email. That'd be the only time. But I'm more of an exclamation point kind of guy. I think a lot of exclamation points from me. I'm a happy texter.
That makes you feel manic. So
what?
Yeah.
I use a lot of exclamation points, smiley faces. I want you to know that I'm happy.
I think
text.
emojis are the way to go because then you can kind of get away with less being concerned with exclamation points and punctuation, and you just add in a bunch of emojis to break things up, and that'll distract from the rest of the content of your message. It just makes you feel fun too.
Oh, in the article, did you say this? They say make sure you know the difference between your and you are.
Hey, it's a tough one. Okay, we're all learning.
I think Isaiah
as of
wrote
late.
this.
I did write this actually last night. I was like, okay, this is an important one. You want to make sure you figure this out. It'll change your life.
Well, okay, so we're ending this with just a reminder that even if you haven't found someone, it doesn't matter. No matter what you do, poor grammar and spelling, try your best at it, and just keep working on it.
Store at room temperature? Now that they can do. The Riot RadioU.
All right, one more time. We're just going to continue on with the theme of love and marriage and dating and relationships. How would you like to get married in Italy?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It sounds romantic, doesn't it?
It
Although
does.
I'm sure the entire country of Italy isn't romantic and, the guys with the gondolas singing to you and whatever. It's not all like that.
I think we're basing it off if we haven't been there before, just pictures and
off
movies
the
of
movies.
it.
Yeah. I just always picture the like I can't even do it.
Or the
whatever that like high stringed instrument is, and it's in The Lady and the Tramp, and they're singing to the dogs, and they eat the spaghetti and kiss. That's all of Italy is not like that.
I like how you're like, where's your perception of Italy comes from? You're like this old animated movie, The Lady and the Tramp.
I haven't even seen I know they remade it for Disney Plus. I haven't even seen.
You haven't seen that? All right.
That's what I think of. I think of the guy. What's the song? This is the night.
No,
you don't know that one.
Well, I'm sure.
And they call it Bella Notte.
Oh, it's like we're on a gondola.
Yeah.
Wow,
I can recreate it.
Beautiful.
You don't have to go to Italy to get married. I will sing at your wedding. Mm-hmm. I don't know where I'll find a gondola, but I'll find one.
That's a part of the RadioU DJ service. If you'd like to, you're more than welcome to hire Hudson. He does more than that. But
I do. I do a lot of things.
Enough.
So that's one of the top selling points.
You're like that. You sound, every time you sing, what's the character? Robert
Goulet. Yeah.
You sound like that.
Wow. He sounds like he has a little Italian in him too, maybe.
So, okay, back to weddings in Italy.
Yes. Okay. So now this would be funny. So you can go to Italy, and right now they are offering to pay people to get married in Italy, a certain region, the region of Lazio. They're calling it Lazio with Love, and they will pay you 2,000 euros. I don't know how that converts to American dollars, but they will pay you 2,000 euros because it's in Europe to get married in one of the popular places to get married. But they say the reason they're doing this is because with COVID-19 over the past couple of years, the wedding industry has gone way down there.
Oh, in the area?
And so they're trying to build it back up and have some romantic. So the thing I thought was funny is you could bring me along for the wedding, and instead of having some actual Italian person sing, you could have me do it.
Well, you could get paid $2,180.78 currently.
Wow. Hey, I'll do that.
Well, the question is, do you get paid that, or does that go to the wedding?
Yeah. I don't know if that's exactly laid out here, at least not as far as I've read down. But,
okay, here it is. You receive refunds of up to the $2,100 when you purchase services or products from local caterers, florists, wedding planners, singers. So you wouldn't get that. So yeah, you get refunded that money if you have the wedding there.
So if you go and you plan your whole wedding there to be less than 2,000 euros, you could have a free wedding. In Italy.
If you've ever thrown a party, just to let you know, especially like if you're thinking Italy, I think it's going to cost you more than $2,000.
Yeah, and you know what? Nobody's going to want to come unless they already live in Italy.
Sure.
I mean, they'd love to go, but you have to pay to fly to Italy and stuff, get a hotel, all that. Destination weddings are the worst.
Well, Matt went to Italy and says you're correct. There's a lot of parts that are not romantic in Italy, but had a lot of serenaded gondola rides in Venice. That was awesome.
Matt, did I sound just like a serenading gondola singer?
Well, we'll give Matt a second to type back.
Was that pretty accurate? Did I do a good job?
If anybody else has been to Italy, you can judge Hudson by texting 877 to RadioU on his gondola singing.
Or did I at least sound like the guy in The Lady and the Tramp?
Why pay for so many streaming services that you don't really care about when you can not really care about the riot for free? Radio U.
Seems as if Amazon has, they're changing up their business plan. Let's just put it that way. They have announced that they are going to be closing all of their brick and mortar bookstores and 4-star shops.
And if you're like, what's that? They didn't have many of them.
Apparently not.
But Amazon had physical bookstores. They had a few. And they physically had, these were different stores called 4-star shops.
Uh-huh.
That was basically the main hot items on Amazon that were like getting 4 stars.
Yeah.
And it was a collection of them in this store where you could go and shop.
Yep.
Again, not many locations of them, but they're not going to do them anymore.
Yeah, I was only vaguely aware of these at all. So, but I also don't read books very often, so it wasn't really in the market for what they were selling. But you know what?
In the 4-star shop, it was just kind of random.
Yeah.
So, like, I think it was okay if you were just shopping at the mall or something.
Yeah, it feels like
but
it feels like something that would show up at like an outlet mall or an airport or something like that, where you would just, I don't know, you wanted to buy random stuff that was probably I'm going to guess, more expensive to buy it in the Amazon physical store than maybe it would be to buy Amazon online.
Well, the bookstores they opened their first one 7 years ago in Seattle. And like I said, they don't have too many of those, but they are moving to concentrate more on groceries because, you get more money with the food stuff.
Yep.
Amazon Fresh, Whole Foods Market, Amazon Go, and Amazon Style stores are still staying.
I'm going to call it right now. Amazon, they're about to go out of business. This is the first sign.
Okay, wait. You know how
today it's the bookstores.
Okay, tomorrow.
Next, it's the whole Amazon operation. You know, how can they be offering free 2-day shipping? It's a terrible business model.
Now, normally I'd stand behind you and we'd make a supportive statement together, but that's not. They're so big that it doesn't matter that they're doing
too big
this.
to fail. I've heard that before. No, they're not going anywhere. They're, but it is weird. I don't know when businesses say stuff like this. Amazon has so much money. And what? So they need to close some stores so they can focus on a different type of business? Why can't you do both?
Well, they own...
It just means that these weren't doing anything for them anyways.
It was not doing enough.
Yeah.
So Fresh and Whole Foods Market, and then the whole check yourself out thing.
Yeah.
Grocery store wise, not like you're looking good today. But Amazon Go
Although
stuff.
I think they have that too.
They do.
The like smart mirror or whatever.
They just know that that's where more money in the future goes. So they're closing up the other stuff.
Yeah. There's no money in books. People don't want to read.
There you go.
So smart move, actually. Smart move when you think about it.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. The Riot, RadioU.
The big thing is college basketball. We're getting close to where the tournament is going to start, but this weekend brings the end of the regular season for the major conferences, including the ACC, where, of course, Duke plays. And I don't know if you've heard, but Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K, he's been coaching at Duke for 41 years.
Oh, my gosh.
This is his final home game coming up tomorrow night.
Oh, really?
Tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, I bet everybody wants to go to that.
Yeah. Have you seen how much the tickets are?
No.
The tickets, if you were trying to get a ticket on Vivid Seats right now, like one of the places where you can where tickets are resold, you're talking $3,450 at least as
Per
of last
ticket?
night. Yeah.
For his last home
Yeah,
game?
they're saying the tickets for this last home game are basically reaching Super Bowl levels of pricing is how high it's going up because it is such a big deal. He's been coaching for 41 years. Duke is going to make the tournament, so it's not his final game overall, but it is his final game for at Duke's home stadium.
Well, if I wanted to see Coach K, I'd be like, well, I would love to see you at home, but for those prices, I'll just see you on the road somewhere where it's less money.
Right. Well, the thing is, I don't think...
Or do students get tickets and then you have to just get one of those?
Yeah, the students, I don't know if you remember, they had to camp out, and they camp out anyways to get tickets to Duke games. But obviously, way more students were signing up and willing to camp out to get the chance to go to this final game.
And if you got tickets, and I assume with students, then that's the lower price.
Yeah.
Then would you keep the tickets?
Yeah, or would you resell it? You stand to gain quite a bit of money.
That'd be some
if you were able to resell it.
temptation there.
Yeah, they also say that for the game tomorrow, which is against North Carolina, of course, Duke's #1 rival, they've also invited all 208 players who have been former, who played with Coach K. All the people he's coached are going to be invited and potentially at the game as well.
That's so nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be a crazy atmosphere. It's hard to even fathom if Duke was to lose.
Yeah.
They're definitely much better than North Carolina, so they should win, and the atmosphere is crazy. But can you imagine all this hype, all this fanfare, everybody in the building, just so excited, and then somehow they managed to lose this final home game.
Don't say
what
that.
a letdown. Yeah, I know. We need to be positive. Come on.
Duke's like, come on, Hudson. Just let us play the game.
All right, well, the positive note then I'll say is that Duke is very good this year. So, again, this is not his final game. They still got the ACC tournament, and then they're going to make it into the actual championship tournament as well, and they've got a chance to potentially even win it all. So that's going to be wild as well. You think tickets are going to get tickets are going to be even more expensive as they continue on through the NCAA tournament.
So Coach K, the Duke coach, who's coached for 40 years, his final home game is tomorrow night. And they say that every home game Duke has done this season, there's been something special about it to kind of lead to the game tomorrow night. But everybody's ready for the conclusion of that.
Yeah, they do say if you were going to the game, which I'm sure probably nobody listening is because it's so expensive and most people don't live in North Carolina in the area. But if you do, they wanted people to get there early so you can see because they're honoring him before the game. I wonder if they're going to show that on TV too. I would hope so.
Yeah.
It's such a big deal.
I'm sure someone
What else
will
are you
get
going to
it.
show on TV?
This is a good thing.
Yeah, this is actually fun. So looking forward to that. It should be a crazy atmosphere, as it always is at Duke.
You've made it all the way to the end of the Worst of the Riot. This show only exists because of support from listeners like you. Find out more and help out at RadioU.com/donate.